Order. Questions to the Prime Minister. Jason McCartney.
Number one, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I've been asked to reply. My right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, is in China. He's leading a major government and trade delegation to China and is now travelling to Seoul for the G20 summit. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure the whole House will wish to join me in paying tribute to Senior Aircraftman Scott Hughes of No. 1 Squadron Royal Air Force Regiment, who died in Cyprus on Sunday while returning from operational service in Afghanistan. He was a professional and brave airman, and it's very sad that he died while returning home from a tour of duty. Our thoughts are with his family and loved ones. Mr. Speaker, this week, on the eve of Remembrance Day, I think we especially remember all those who've given their lives in the service of our country, both in recent years and through previous generations. The sacrifices made by our servicemen and women for our peace and freedom must never be forgotten. Mr. Speaker, may I also, on a much happier note, on behalf of the Government, extend our warmest congratulations and best wishes to the Leader of the Opposition and his partner, Justine, on the birth of their baby boy, son. And it's absolutely wonderful news, and we really are thrilled for them.
Jason McCartney.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a 12-year-old, a haemophiliac from Lindley in Huddersfield was injected with contaminated blood products, giving him HIV, hepatitis C and CJD. When will he and the 2,000 other survivors of this shocking scandal get fair compensation?
I know that my honourable friend is a vigorous campaigner for all of those whose lives have been so tragically affected by contaminated blood. It really is a dreadful, dreadful catastrophe for all of those affected. My honourable friend, the Minister for Health, does intend to report on the outcome of the current review to see what can be done, more can be done for those affected by contaminated blood by the end of the year. Ministers for Health will also be holding an open meeting for everybody in Westminster Hall tomorrow, where honourable members from all sides of the House and peers from the other place can raise with them any concerns they have tomorrow.
The Leader of the Opposition, Harriet Harman.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to join the Deputy Prime Minister in paying tribute to Senior Aircraftman Scott Hughes of No. 1 Squadron Royal Air Force Regiment. We honour his memory and send condolences to his family, and we'll remember all our servicemen and women on Remembrance Day. And I'd like to echo too his best wishes to the Leader of the Opposition and Justine on the birth of their new baby. Mr. Speaker, in April this year, the Deputy Prime Minister said that it was his aim to end university tuition fees. Can he update the House on how his plan is progressing?
Mr. Speaker, I acknowledge, of course I acknowledge, this is an extraordinarily difficult issue, and I've been entirely open about the fact that we have not been able to deliver the policy that we held in opposition. Because of the financial situation, because of the compromises of the coalition government, we have had to put forward a different policy.
I want to hear the Deputy Prime Minister's update. The Deputy Prime Minister.
Nonetheless, we have stuck to our ambition, our wider ambition, to make sure that going to university is done in a progressive way, so that for those people who are presently discouraged from going to university, bright people from poor backgrounds, discouraged by the system we inherited from her government, are able to do so. That is why our policy is more progressive than hers.
Harriet Harman.
Well, I'm glad he thinks it's so fair. I hope he'll be going out and telling that to all the students and lecturers marching on Westminster today. In April, he said that increasing tuition fees to £7,000 a year would be a disaster. What word would he use to describe fees of £9,000?
I think, Mr. Speaker, there's actually more. There is more consensus than she concedes on the simple principle that people who benefit from going to university should make a contribution for the costs of that university education. The question is, how do you do it? Do you do it fairly? Do you do it in a progressive way? The proposals we have put forward will mean that those who earn the least will pay much less than they do at the moment. Those who earn the most will pay over the odds to provide a subsidy to allow people from poor backgrounds to go to university, and will for the first time end the discrimination against the 40% of people who are part-time students in our universities who are so shamefully treated by her government.
Harriet Harman.
None of us agree with tuition fees of £9,000 a year. None of us. And Mr. Speaker, And Mr. Speaker, this is not about the deficit. The Chancellor said the deficit will be dealt with by 2014, when this new system will hardly have begun. No, this is not about the deficit. This is about him going along with a Tory plan to shove the cost of higher education onto students and their families. Look, Mr. Speaker, we all know what it's like. You're at Freshers' Week. You meet up with a dodgy bloke and you do things that you regret. Isn't it true? Isn't it true? Isn't it true? He's been led astray by the Tories. Isn't that the truth of it?
Mr. Speaker, I know she now thinks that she can sort of reposition the Labour Party as the champion of students. Let's remember the Labour Party's record against tuition fees in 1997, introduced them a few months later. Against top-up fees in the manifesto in 2001, introduced top-up fees. Then set up the Brown Review, which they're now trashing. Now have a policy to actually tax graduates, which half the front bench doesn't even believe in. Maybe she will go out to the students who are protesting outside now and explain what on earth her policy is.
As a result of his plans, English students will pay amongst the highest fees of any public university system in the industrialised world. And why? Not to give universities more funds, no, to replace the cuts he's making to university teaching. Can he tell the House, Mr. Speaker, can he tell the House what is the percentage cut to the university teaching grant?
I can certainly confirm that she and her party also had plans to make massive cuts in the department's budget, which would have affected higher education. Here are a few facts. Every single graduate under our scheme will pay less per month than they do under the scheme we've inherited from Labour. The bottom 25% of earners will pay much less in their contributions to their university education than they do at the moment. Part-time students will pay no upfront fees, and not a single student will pay a penny of upfront fees whatsoever. It is a fair and progressive solution to a very difficult problem.
Harriet Harman.
It looks as though he's been taking lessons from the Prime Minister on how not to answer the question. I asked him about the cut to the teaching grant. The truth is, it's a staggering 80%. 80%. No wonder he's ducking the question. The real reason he's hiking up fees is because he's pulling the plug on public funding and dumping the cost onto students. Isn't that why he's betraying his promise on tuition fees?
Mr. Speaker, the graduate tax that she advocates would be more unfair. It would allow higher earners to opt out of the system altogether. We all agree, she agrees, we all agree across all sides of this House that graduates should make some contribution for the benefit of going to university. The question is how. We have a progressive plan. She has no plan whatsoever.
Harriet Harman.
But during the election, he was the one who hawked himself round university campuses, pledging to vote against tuition fees. And by the time Freshers' Week was over, he'd broken his promise. Every single Lib Dem MP signed the pledge not to put up tuition fees. Every single one of them is about to break that promise. He must honour his promise to students and their families up and down the country. Will he think again?
Speaker, it's quite something to take lectures from the Honourable Lady about party management after the mutiny on Monday in the parliamentary Labour. Well, they're all cheering her now. They certainly weren't at the mutiny on Monday night. The truth is, before the election, we didn't know the unholy mess. We didn't know the unholy mess that was going to be left to us by her party. On this issue, as on so many issues, the two parties on this side of the House have come together to create a solution for the future. Two parties on this side of the House have one policy. The party opposite have got two policies.